This mutation is called My Bots, and it is being played on missed opportunities. We have two mutators active. We have killbots, and we have boombots. I'll talk about this mutator in just a bit. Let's just look at the masteries while the players get set up. Mengsk has gone for the conscript support, terrible damage, and the starting mandate. And Zagara has gone for the Zagara energy regeneration, the bane lane damage, and the intensified frenzy. So pretty much perfect selections there from both these players' parts. You can see that they've gone for the terrible damage instead of the Royal Guard cost. This one is a matter of debate. And Mengsk has also selected a prestige. He has the Inhumane prestige for Mengsk, which is the prestige that gives the troops the little exploding weapons that track the enemy units when the troopers die. So this is Mengsk going full Inhumane on this mission. Now, this weekly mutation is the first weekly mutation which features Blizzard's newest mutator that has been added to the roster of mutators, and this is Boombots. So Boombots is somewhat similar to Killbots in terms of how their AI behaves. The unit will spawn somewhere randomly around the map, and it will make its way towards your base or towards one of your units. And when it reaches one of your units, it will actually detonate a nuke. And this nuke is the normal size nuke, and basically deals a lot of damage, and you have to try and disable the bot. And the way this works is the bot will be assigned a random 4-digit code if you are playing on brutal difficulty, and one player can see the code and the other player cannot. So one player sees the code and the other player has to input the code into the bot. You can use your numpad. There have been a special bunch of triggers that have been added to capture your numpad inputs, so you can actually input the code using your numpad instead of manually clicking the command card. So that's just a little tip for you. So you have to input the code before the bot reaches your base, otherwise bad stuff happens. And it detonates a nuke once every 10 seconds. So once it detonates a nuke, it stops there for about 10 seconds, and it'll restart moving towards your base. And you can see it looks exactly like a propagator, so I think that's pretty much very, very fitting. So we're going to take a look at the boombot over here. We are on Mengsk's view, and you can see Mengsk can see the code here. So over here, what has happened is these players are actually using the pause function in the game, so you'll see a lot of breaks here in the text chat. You'll see text chat just being instantly used. Personally, I think that kind of beats the fun of this mutator, like using the pause, but it does make it easy. So you can also use the pause function if you want to deal with the boombot. Now, the killbot is basically just normal. You can see a bunch of killbots here that are aggroing these zerglings, and this killbot ends up dying. But the next boombot has already spawned on the map, and these players will be pausing all the way through. But I think it's an interesting challenge, and I would encourage you people who are going to be watching this video, and if you do want to submit future weekly mutations, please do not submit this mutation because this mutation is already casted. If you want to submit future weekly mutations with the boombot, with the killbot or the boombot without using any pauses, that is something you can do. And you can see this boombot has detonated and hit Zagara, and you can see here that Mengsk cannot actually see, or in this case, Mengsk cannot see the boombot's code. So it is Zagara that has to tell. It is Zagara that has to tell Mengsk what the code is. Now, there is one thing that you also have to pay attention to, and is if you input the wrong code, the boombot will disable any input for 10 seconds. It's like 10 seconds or something. It's something like that. It locks you out of inputting any more numbers for a period of time. And one of the other things that also happens is that it'll start to move faster. So whenever you are putting the codes for the boombots, make sure that you are typing them in correctly and you do not button fudge, because bad stuff can happen. It can start to move really fast. So you can see the codes are being input. It's not really not a terrible mutator, but I think actually it's kind of fun. It's something that would be really easy to do over if you're playing on voice chat, for example. If you are playing on the random queue, I think pausing might be the way to go, especially because this is the first weekly mutation with this mutator. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do not even read these things and do not actually know what is going on. People just jump in. I think I've seen several game casts, and you know there are definitely rock slapping champions episodes where people queue into a mutation without actually even looking at the mutators. They just queue in. So probably one might want to pause on the random queue, but I do encourage people to submit. There is another Boombots mutator coming up sometime within the next month or so, and I do encourage people to send their replays for a Boombots mutator without using pauses, because I think without using pauses adds to the extra challenge. So you can see the code has already been provided by Zagara, and Mengsk has the input code. So once you get into the flow of this, it's not that bad. It's very easy to handle this. You can see now there's already a drop here and a nuke right onto the bonus objective, and this bonus objective will be cleared. There is another harass wave now on the top that's coming up. There is some more inhumaneness as well here. And you can see that Mengsk's troopers are actually using their weapons as well to start clearing some of these enemy units out, but for the most part this whole area is clear. Boom, the killbot, this is going to be so difficult too. The killbot has aggroed the Zerglings, so this will end up clearing. There is a Boombot on the top here, which has been disabled by Zagara. Again, another pause halfway through. I have disabled the pauses onto the replays don't actually show the pauses, the time to view the pause, which is kind of good because I think it'll be really annoying and very distracting for people who are watching this video to constantly have the thing pause. I think it's one of the most jarring things, is just pausing without giving a heads up, because you are kind of concentrated on the game. Another harass wave down on the southern side, and these Dragoons will also end up getting cleared. We also have now a Zerg call down from Mengsk to end up dealing with this next Reaver, and all that is left now is to clear this bonus objective, which will be done in no time soon. There's a Void Ray here, but a Void Ray is not going to last against the Mutalisks. Zerglings, Hydralisks, and Mutalisks do end up aggroing the bonus objective, and that bonus objective will be cleared. And now we have Zagara that is actually pushing into the player's base, into Amon's base, with a roach drop as well to help. Zagara is not using the Apex Predator Prestige, so her frenzy will be affecting pretty much all of her units here. And now there are just a few more units here. There's can you see a unit? So I think what happened is Mengsk dropped a trooper there. Press F for that trooper, who gave his life to get the killbot code. So the killbot code has been provided for the ally, and all they have to do now is input that code into the killbot. You do need vision. I think Raynor might be one of the better commanders against killbots, against these boombots, because you can actually scan, and yeah, you can see here that was a button fudge. You can see this thing starting to type in faster. So there's another nuke here, and now they finally put the thing in. So yeah, it does detonate a nuke if you... I think it detonates a nuke if you put in the wrong code, but it definitely starts to move faster as well. So a few more troopers here, a little bit of inhumanity for Mengsk, and now there is also a random trooper here, which might not be... Okay, so the code is visible, and again, a few more pauses to make this a little bit easier. This mission will be a little bit hectic when you have the boombots spawning from all over the map, but remember that you can actually all clear this mission. So if you do all clear this mission, the killbots will not spawn, the boombots will not spawn, and your life is just all nice and good. So I do encourage you as well to try and clear this mission, and all clear this mission, remove every single enemy structure from the map. If you leave one structure up, all the bots will spawn from that side. So do be careful if you do intend on all clearing this mission. And you can see there's a frenzy with the Mengsk troopers here. They're getting a lot of... Mengsk is getting a lot of good value for this. I personally have not played yet with the Prestige. With this Prestige, it does look like a lot of fun to play, especially when you're up against compositions with High Templars and lots of Storm units. You just lose a few troopers and you end up deleting the attack wave anyway. We have Zerkal then on the northern side to start pushing in and applying a little bit of pressure to this base of Amon. We have also Roach drop here with Frenzy. Now, yeah, I have not actually played with these Mengsk Prestige yet. I am leveling somewhat randomly on all three servers. It kind of depends on who's available to play when I do sit to play a little bit. I'm working a lot. I'm pretty much working on Starcraft like full time, so I don't really have very much time to play. The only time I normally do play is when I stream on Twitch, so whoever's usually around during that time, I'll usually play on their server and do my leveling. So I haven't actually gotten to Mengsk level 3 prestige yet, but that prestige does look like a lot of fun to play. It does actually seem like one of his best prestiges there. I have heard that all of his prestiges are pretty solid, but the inhumane prestige, as I like to call it, seems to be a really fun one to play. And you can see when you have these high Templars, right? They start storming your troopers. When your troopers die, they actually end up killing everything here, which makes your troopers like it provides so much value for your troopers, even though your weapons are more expensive. There is a boom bot over here that ends up detonating on top of the Zerglings, but the boom bot does get disabled by Mengsk finally. Or Zagara. It's so difficult to tell. One player sees the code and the other player has to input the code. That is generally how this mutator works. There's a few more killbots here, and that killbot will end up dying as well. There is another boombot on the way. But yeah, I think Raynor would be amazing on this because he has access to the scan. So you basically scan right on top of the boombot, and you can disable the boombot instantly. And additionally, also, if you're not using the P1 Prestige, which is the one that makes his units more tanky, at the cost of your orbital, at the cost of not having access to your mules, you can actually use Raynor to sacrifice his Marines into the killbots as well. So I think Raynor might be a very, very good commander for this weekly mutation. Zagara obviously is a great one because she has the ability to just feed units into the killbots. We have a few more detonations over here. Lots of detonations on this boombot. There are actually a couple of boombots. One of these boombots does end up dying, and the code has been input, and the second one also gets disabled right now. And we have a killbot here that is aggroing some of these roaches. And Zagara now is going to be clearing out this small enemy camp here. And now they have to push into this base, and pushing into this base is going to be very, very scary because when you are pushing into this base, the boombots, remember, are going to be spawning from whatever enemy structures are remaining. So as you start clearing the space, there's a higher chance that the boombot is going to spawn right next to you and nuke your army. So again, be very careful when you are pushing this base. We have a Zerkal down here from Mengsk. Mengsk is going to start pushing in, and Zagara on the side as well with a Frenzy. And we have a bunch of Hunter Killers as well. Mengsk is going to deal a little bit. He's going to dent this base a little bit. There are a bunch of storms coming down on the southern side. There's a two-prong attack, and now there are a bunch of boombots over here. So that boombot does end up wiping out a lot of the units that were pushing in from Zagara, and that boombot gets disabled. There is another boombot over here, and Zagara is paying attention to that boombot. And that boombot is going to be... I don't think it got disabled. No, it did not get disabled yet. There are a bunch of lings here. Boombot finally now gets disabled. And now we have a bunch of killbots here that have to get some kills. And kills they will get. That killbot is a little bit further away. Zagara still pushing in from the side, applying a lot of pressure to Amon's base. And these players want to clear out. They want to clear out the space here. It'll make it a lot easier when you just do not have to deal with killbots at all. There is an attack wave over here that has spawned. A few troopers will get unloaded and equipped with some of these weapons, and just see how effective these weapons are. Pretty much wipes out the entire Zealot wave here. There is another boombot on the top. Boombot will eventually get disabled, but not before nuking Zagara. Actually, that boombot does not get disabled. It's just moving around right now, and it's causing a lot of havoc for these players. There is another attack wave on the southern side and a killbot on the northern side. That attack wave will get intercepted by a bunch of Mengsk troopers. There are a lot of dragoons over here, and now the killbots are right on top of the Vespene harvesters here, or the harvesting bots for Stetman. So again, these killbots have to be dealt with. There are going to be a bunch of troopers that will be sacrificing themselves to these killbots. We have a bunch of lings here, and they're drawing aggro away. That boombot does get disabled. There are two more boombots on the way, and there are a bunch of dragoons here, and these dragoons are dealing so much damage to that Vespene harvester. The harvester is actually really, really short on HP, so that one goes down, and now there are 2, 3, 4 killbots and 2 boombots. So these players will have to try and deal with all of this. These players are actually, they're kind of stuck into a corner. Lots of dragoons being spawned as well. There is another frenzy being used, getting these units into position to try and keep these units alive. And these killbots now are going to be killing off the rest of these banelings. But again, there are 2 more boombots on the way, and these boombots are going to be Are they going to be disabled? They're moving somewhere over here. That's okay. There's actually very nice vision range here. So both these boombots do get disabled. And over here, that Vespene Harvester is getting aggro. That Vespene Harvester is so low on HP. It is sitting at 120 HP right now. And Zagara's army just in time intercepts that. And now these players will have to try and deal with the attack wave, plus I think a couple of kill bots as well that are coming up. So these kill bots are going to be okay. There's going to be a lot of storms here right on top of this army, and this is exactly what I was talking about. These storms land on top of Mengsk's troopers. They drop their weapons. The weapons intercept the attacking units because they actually target the nearest enemy unit within a certain range. And then you end up wiping out all the High Templars, so you're actually able to trade very efficiently versus the attack waves, especially when you have like High Templars and lots of splash damage units. Again, one final frenzy here from Zagara. There are a bunch of boombots that have spawned, and they have actually ended up wiping out Zagara's army, but Zagara has dealt a good amount of damage to this base, so all that is left now is Mengsk has to be a little bit careful as he starts to push. There are a few more kill bots here, and these kill bots are going to be aggroing some of these Mengsk troopers, which is very unfortunate, but these Mengsk troopers are actually dying, and these weapons are aggroing some of these enemy structures here. So that is pretty much all the Amon's base cleared. There is still going to be, I think, maybe one more spawn of boombots if these players do not actually clear the bonus objective area, because I think there are maybe a pylon or so in that spot. So this area has been cleared, this base has been cleared, and now all that is left are the enemy structures in that bonus area here. We have a roach drop. This thing is going to end up detonating right on top of that roach drop, pretty much nullifies the roach drop completely, and that second boombot goes off as well. First boombot has been disabled. Killbots on the southern side here are, there are a bunch of lings here, but I think they have been F2, yeah, they've been F2A moved into the Amon's base here, so they're not going to end up aggro. Okay, so they've been retargeted here. They're going to be put on hold position, and now all that is left is to clear the last few remaining structures on this map, and then they're basically done. So Zagara is basically held off here against this killbot. Make sure that if you are playing with these killbots and you are the one who is in charge of clearing out the killbots, you put your units in hold position. Obviously pay attention to where the boombots are, but put your units into hold position so they do not end up randomly moving around and running away from the... But you can see Zagara is just focusing right down, clicking right on top of that structure, and now there is a and then there's a Baneling barrage right onto that cannon. I think there's one more structure over here, and a bunch of boombots has ended up spawning and ended up wiping out all these Zerglings here. There is a mothership here that is cloaked, and there's a hybrid dominator as well on the side here. So one of the things that's very difficult is that this boombot is now actually cloaked and just aggroing some of the Zerglings here. Finally, I think that mothership may end up going down. Yeah, the mothership does go down, and I think there's just aggroing. Okay, yeah, that extraction device needs to be clear, and that hybrid dominator is causing so many problems. There is now a harass wave on the way. A few more Mengsk troopers over here. They will be equipped with weapons as they come out of their bunker, so they can actually clear out the dragoons that have spawned. And there's another attack wave as well over here. So there is one last hybrid dominator. There's one last hybrid dominator that is actually locking these players out of that bonus objective. So let's see if they actually are able to do it. There's a hybrid dominator just over there. There's an attack wave now. There's a harass wave on the southern side and a harass wave on the northern side. That harass wave will get cleared out by the Banelings. Over here, Dragoons. Zagara is in position now, and she'll be fine. She'll be able to hold against that. And then a few more Mengsk troopers being sent to their deaths. A very inhumane death against the Reavers and stuff. But you see how effective that trait is. Over here now, there's finally a roach drop. This roach drop is going to end up focusing down this hybrid dominator. Hybrid dominator will die, and that extraction device will also be cleared. So those are both bonus objectives done on this mission, as long as Zagara is able to clear it out. Finally, a bunch of Zerglings now to deal with that bonus objective. And you can see now the mission has pretty much normalized. There are no more boombots spawning on the map, which means that this is going to be very basic. Yeah, but okay, so bonus cannot spawn them. Yeah, that was actually kind of interesting. It appears that the bonus objective is not an Amon unit. It may be assigned to a special player, so that is probably why the boombots do not spawn, or the killbots do not spawn from the bonus objectives, which is kind of nice, which means you do not have to clear the bonus objectives completely. You just have to clear Amon structures around. Lots of storms coming right down, all on top of these Zerglings. This is going to be completely inhumane. We're going to have a look at the kill counts as soon as the final attack wave has finished spawning and the final harvesting bot is on the way. Take your guesses if you have not watched this video on CG's channel as to what the kill count is going to be. This is pretty much it. Yep, he took the words right out of my mouth. This is inhumane. We're going to bunch more troopers here. We will be given some more weapons. And yeah, those little nukes, lots of storms coming down right on top of the Zergal down. And now the attack wave has spawned. And there were a bunch of banelings that were, I think, underneath this. And they end up wiping out the attack wave. All that is left are a bunch of hybrids. And these hybrids are actually pretty tanky. These mulas will aggro now. These hybrid destroyers will go down. And a few more troopers on here as well. A few more troopers. Again, more inhumane deaths for these innocent little troopers who have been constructed by Mengsk. And that is the last day. Take your guesses. I'm going to be releasing the kill counts. 1, 2, 3. These are the units lost. 174, 935. 935 Zerglings have died. Tell me how many lings I lost. Hey, Neo level, it's 935. 416 mini banelings, 257 big banelings, 475 troopers. This game was completely inhumane, but that is the last of Stedman's harvesting bots. Saved with the loss of one, but both bonus objectives are done, and that is GG.